making fun.
How are you? I'm gonna ask y'all to be easy in the chat because I can't. I struggle still, and I don't think I could slow it down here. So I wanted to. I hope everybody is doing well. Yes. Hi, Beauty Junkie. How are you? Listen, I'm tired. I'm tired. Hi, Tori. Thanks, guys. Cupcake. How are you? I have a cold. Hi, Pinky. I hope you're doing well. I know, y'all. I'm gonna try. Right. I have to kind of ease back into this stuff. I did a YouTube live the other day, and I put it on slow mode because I really struggle. Hi, Melody. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Hi, homegirl. I did a live. This is the problem. I can't. Hi, Alexi. I hope you're doing well. I can't read and focus. I have a really hard time with multitasking. And I get frustrated because that's not how I normally am, you know? I tried to explain it to somebody recently, like my thoughts used to just connect, right? They don't connect very well anymore. Like I have to actually do it in steps, if that makes sense. But I'm trying. Hi, Sin. I appreciate you. What up, Beans? I'm trying to get back into it. I did go back to work part-time, but it's still only 2 days a week. I never had a concussion before. Cheryl, long time no see. I never had a concussion before, so the beginning was really frustrating as far as things that I was dealing with. And I was like, this isn't normal. And unfortunately, hi, Alicia. Hi, Angel. Hi, Paisley. It just is what it is. You know, I get frustrated, and the doctor kind of doesn't help much. They're just like, it takes its time. It takes time. But I wanted to, Andy, I hope the puppies are doing well. You know, I'm not really a take it easy kind of person. And being, hi TK, how are you? Being left no choice is a little difficult. Well, so I don't know who didn't watch my YouTube live the other day, but I did address some of that. It sucks. It sucks. I don't recommend it, you know. It was probably, hi Waffle Slayer, I would say a solid 3 weeks. I was just like in bed. As I started to get better, hi Wendy Lou, hi Rachel. As I started to get better, it got more frustrating, and the doctor didn't want me to go back to work, but I was like, I can't take it. Like, I can't, I don't just sit well with just not doing anything. And I'm still struggling with, I appreciate y'all, with like the multitasking of it. Because I normally, I multitask well. Lately I don't multitask well. And it's incredibly frustrating. But I guess I'm kind of getting used to like my new normal, if you will. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Yeah, the witch is retired, but I appreciate y'all. I did a YouTube live just to kind of, Jeff, what's good, Jeff? I haven't also been able to find my Text Now phone. So if you're texting my Text Now phone, I'm not ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't know where it is. Since I moved, it's got to be somewhere. I just don't know where. Hi, Chanel. Hi, Mish. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying to ease back in. I have been sitting here. Hi, Heather B. I'm going to do a little bit more work on it. It was kind of taken apart for a while, right? But I'm gonna put. I think I'm gonna make multiple different ones, right? Since I now have downtime. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Gail. I appreciate you. I've been thinking about making new ones for. Hi, Sierra. I saw you in my notifications recently, and I hadn't seen you in a while, so I hope everything's all right. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I think I'm gonna make different ones. Hi. I haven't quite gotten there. I did try. So if you watched my YouTube live, you know that I am no longer going to participate in drama. I have a bunch of tags about another scammer. I've never heard of her before, but apparently there's a child involved. And I just pointed the person in the direction. I don't want anything to do with it. I have been, I got the transcripts. Hi, Struggles. I hope I'm so tired, Pandora. And, you know, I really believe that everything happens for a reason. Hi, Give It Talk. I hope you're doing well. Like, I really believe that. And you can't always find the reason at the time, right? Like, when it's happening. And the day that I got hit, in case you didn't see my YouTube live, the day that I got hit was the day that C was removed, right? There was a lot going on, you know, on the back end. And people that I speak to understand how it was affecting me, right? I've never been in a place where I was invested emotionally. I had never seen, what up, grandbabies? I had never seen such a systemic failure, right? And I really struggled. That wasn't what I wanted. I wanted people to do their jobs, right? I know that there's been some things that have been made public while I was down, right? One of them is that text message, the text message with the teacher, right? And I knew about that, and that was cause for concern for me, right? In my opinion, kids that age don't know things like that, right? And so that's kind of why I ramped things up a bit and went with the governor letter, right? I'd never seen, usually if there's an issue, you go to the caseworker supervisor and, oh, things are fixed, right? I had never seen something be such a failure. And hi, green-eyed girl, I hope you're doing all right. It was affecting me as far as trying to find a solution, right? And I'm of the mind that nothing on the internet should do that to you. And if it does, then log off, right? I was not given a choice but to log off because I got hit that day. Well, and Beans, that's why I begged. Hi, Night Nurse. I begged people, Jersey friend, I hope you're doing all right. I was thinking about you when I was putting the cat tree back together. I was like, maybe I shouldn't have given her this. And I think that was the universe, if you will, telling me, take a break, right? Because I was being affected. Like it was bothering me. However, sorry. After that happened, I've been going through the transcripts from the trial of my boarding school. They're good. They're in the cat tree. Hi, Chrissy. And I know that my notifications, my DMs, they're so bad, y'all. And every day I try to like chip away a bit at them, and then like they're full by the time I'm done. Hi, Botch. So I wanted to talk to I want to cover the trial, the boarding school trial that I just went to. I did miss Texas, and I'm good with it, right? I'm good with it. Hi, Paula. I'm thankful that things went the way they did, because I prefer quality over quantity. And unfortunately, I wasn't aware of some things. If you missed my YouTube live, I discuss it over there. It's not something I'm going to keep going over and over and over. I'm just not. I did post that video. Also, if you're not, because I can't pin here. I posted that video apologizing to somebody that I repeated words without doing proper vetting of the situation. I understand that person has done or been involved with things over there with other people. That my intention was just correcting my words. That's it. I encourage, thank you, I encourage conversations, but I can't force that. I've been going through the trial transcripts because that's what I want to do. I want to get all the way away from this shit because it's for the birds. I do think that I am going to be, I don't know what it looks like yet, right? But I do think that I'm going to change some things as far as how accessible I am. Because I think that leaves the door open. Hi, Lynn. I appreciate you. Hi, Ethel. I am, Bonsai. I am so tired. And I did this in 2023. When my mom got sick, I appreciate you, Lynn. It shifted my perception, and I realized both of my parents died at 60, right? That's 14 years from now. Jenny, I hope you're doing all right. I don't want to it's a waste of time. And granted, there are still some situations that I might be involved in on the back end, right? And I don't see that changing. I will still, good, I'm glad. I will still help people where I can, when I can. I do have a couple of people in my email asking me about Thanksgiving help. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't decided, I haven't decided what that looks like, if I'm going to do it. I remember when I did it last year, I kind of hated it. I didn't know. Hi, Julie. I hope you're doing all right. I have a habit of saying things publicly and not thinking it out. And then when I have to put things together, I didn't think it through, right? I did it last year with the shelter kids for Christmas. The security, I didn't think about that being a thing. And the fact that I couldn't, details couldn't be given. I didn't even think about the security risks, you know? So it's something that I'm going to think about prior to saying anything about it. So, but I'm working on it. I think I've had maybe 3 or 4 people ask about it. I'm working on it. I just want to make sure that I think it through this time and I don't say some shit publicly and then winds up hating myself when I gotta follow through. Thanks, Lynn. But I'm gonna cover the boarding school first. Also, just so people understand, I have never ever stated that I was an RN. I went to nursing school. That's a fact. I've never been licensed. I've never practiced outside of a clinical facility. Okay? I don't know where that came from. I've never said that. Do I have the education? Yes. But I'm not licensed. Okay? There's a difference here. Certain professions, you go to school, but if you don't take your licensure exam, you can't practice. We good? Hi, Jeannie. I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. There's a huge difference. I know. I sure have. But, you know, I appreciate you, Heather. I forgot what I was just going to say. Gabby, I am still, I know that there is a lot going on. I don't plan on watching. I want to spend my time doing things that make a difference. Until she acknowledges her issues, it's not going to change, right? And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but I just want to do something different. I started going through the transcripts of the trial, and that's actually, I took a break and I was like, let me just go live. That way I want a fresh start. I agree, Alexia. Hi, Joni. I love your face. I agree. And it's unfortunate. It truly is. But I think that when people, how can I word this? Let me, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's very different. Hi, Amy. For people on this side of the screen. Meaning, not like people that are vocal, right? I think that, hi, Aaron. I am Shauna, thank you. People that hi finds out, I appreciate you always. Me finds out, feisty, right? People that are the ones that are front and center, trying to get some shit done. We have no privacy. Like, we got to deal with people digging into everything, thinking they know what they're talking about, and I'm just tired of it. Like, I'm really tired of it. I don't know why. Like, I don't just walk around running backgrounds on people. I don't know where that came from. Most people, I never even ask them their real name. I don't know why, but I think that it's really easy for people that are never in our position to talk. And granted, we do it ourselves. I'm not saying anything about that, but there's a certain level of, I don't know. I agree, and I just don't want anything to do with it. I really don't. I have, you know, not necessarily privacy, because I've always been like a pretty open book, but like, I don't know the right way to say it, and I think that gets overlooked a lot, right? Like, the amount of shit that we deal with. And I'm not saying we don't sign up for it. I'm not saying, not at all. I'm just saying it gets to a point where it's like, it's annoying, and I just would rather spend my time and energy in better places. Right, Nikki? It's a lot. It is a lot. And here's another thing that I do wrong, is I expect me out of people, right? Right, Lee, exactly. And I give people, I treat people, essentially, most people anyway. We're not talking about like the people that have become topics of my conversation. We're talking about people that in my everyday life. Hi, Lulu. I treat people the same until you show me, you can't be treated that way. What up, Meepers? Unfortunately, that comes with a price, because not everybody deserves the kind of person that I am. And by the time I figure it out, it's too late. So, hi, Michelle. I know the kind of human I am. I don't give a fuck what 9 out of the 10 people say about me. I really don't care. It doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't affect me. But there's a lot of shit that it comes with, you know? And it's just, I just want something different. Sorry, thank you. And I've been, I got, like, and I did it to myself, because when my mom got sick, I appreciate you. I was like, what a fucking waste of time, right? And I lost sight of that for a while. I do. Yes. Hi, Betty White. I appreciate you, USHA. I lost sight of that for a while, and I allowed myself to stumble quickly back into something that I really didn't want any involvement in. I just have a really hard time seeing something and not saying something. I do, and I appreciate it. I'm gonna add to it a little more. I don't know. I want to. I haven't decided if I'm gonna add to it or just make new ones. Thank you, Rose Sophie. Hi, Sunflower. So I don't know what it looks like, and to be honest, content from this point forward may be like a mixed bag of tricks, because I don't know where I'm going. I watch like court TV and stuff. Hi Snoopy's girl. I did do a lot of editing on the transcripts for the boarding school trial, and I'm excited about it because I took notes at the trial first, and right, it's just right there. Well, you do cook, like you do different stuff too, so I don't really wanna I just know what it won't be, and I said that recently, maybe in my YouTube live. I was like, I don't know where I'm going from here, but I had, when I did that live, I'll tell you right now actually, when I did that live on that playlist that of things that I wanted to address, right, there were 20 videos on there, okay, all time stamped and ready to go. I did 2 of them in 4 hours. I'm not wasting my time if I'm done. It's a different one, Samantha. The one, we are in production for one for my school. Hi, Hope. I hope you're feeling all right, and I appreciate you. If you came to me and gave me the decency of a conversation instead of jumping on a hate train full of lies and assumption, I appreciate you. Hi Vicky, my YouTube is linked in my link tree. I also got to take that, there was a wish list in there, I got to make it private because it was taken care of. So that's actually what I wanted to talk about. I just got sidetracked. I went to what was called a therapeutic boarding school in the late 90s. There are multiple documentaries out about similar programs, not mine yet, but there are shows out. They were very similar. I haven't watched them. I just know that they exist. That kind of stuff really triggers me. Hi, Princess. So I tend to stay away from things that that would trigger my CPTSD, right? Hi, Delray. The school was abusive. Finds out you might have been in that live. So last year, I decided for April I was gonna do a series on the school because it wasn't something that I talked about much. People knew it wasn't a secret, but it wasn't something that I'd gone through thoroughly. And I decided last April, April 2023. I appreciate you, Hope. I decided that I was going to do a series on it. I started that series, and 3 days into it, I was on a live stream and we were talking about it, and I ended my live, and when I got out of the screen, the mugshot of one of the men from my boarding school, I say man loosely, okay, was arrested. It was a years-long investigation. Hi, Karen Lee. And he was arrested and charged for trafficking because over the course of his tenure, I'll say, at the school, he had taken 3 students across state lines in order to abuse them sexually. The timing of it. Hi, Luann, I'm sorry. Hi, Jesse. I'm trying, y'all. The timing of it was really strange because I was literally live talking about it, and I just got out, and there he was. They do way more harm than good. Hi, T-Rex. Not T-Rex with the CPAP. So he went to the trial. That's the GoFundMe I did a couple of months back, which if you missed the receipts, they're on my fucking YouTube. Yeah, I know. He was arrested. They charged him with 3. After they charged him, other students disclosed. Hi, Heather. But the statute of limitations, nothing, sister, nothing. So he had trial it was February 19th, I believe his trial started. We were told that it would take 3 weeks. And then like 4 days in, they were like, oh no, we'll be done by next week. So we all had to rush. That's why the GoFundMe was created. We went there. I took notes in the trial. That's the transcripts that I have. It's you know what's crazy to me? I can't believe that all these years later that they're still not regulated. I pulled a FOIA. I'm sorry. I pulled a FOIA on the school while I was doing the series about it. They had a major investigation in 1987 where they should have been shut down. Okay? Now, just for like, I went there in 96. I was sent there in June of 1996. I walked the day after my 18th birthday in October of 97. Hi, Christy. Right? These places still exist. Big thanks. Hi, Nikki. And it blows my mind. A student that I was there with got very vocal. John Martin Crawford. I call, he's like the patron saint of therapeutic boarding schools. Right, it's crazy, Rose. He went and he spoke in front of Congress in 2008 for oversight, because I do think that programs like this, as long as there's oversight, could be a necessary thing, right? Parents need a place to kind of give them, I appreciate you, Nikki, give them help with that out of control teen. Like, I think that could be useful, right? Thank you, Ginger, I appreciate you. And we're going into 2026, y'all, and there's still no oversight. And it was very hard for me sitting in the courtroom and listening to them invalidate what we went through. Give justifications for wrapping teenage kids in a blanket, securing them with duct tape. That's not normal. That's abuse. That's abuse. It is completely disgusting for an adult to be sitting at a dinner table with 30 children and discussing their masturbation habits. That's disgusting. That man just got convicted. I don't know if I posted here because I was on hiatus. He got 27 and a half years. Okay? After he was arrested, one of the biggest issues with my program specifically is the really high rate. Okay? Maybe there's like 2,000 students, like the whole group of alumni. Maybe. That's me, because when I was there was 90 kids there. It was a very small school. We have, I think we just got 163 students that are dead, largely before they're 40, from either an OD or they take their own lives. And when John Martin Crawford, the one that spoke in front of Congress, took his own life, it was like a shock, right? Because in my mind, he was the one that was like leading the charge, right? The internet it wasn't a thing. Hi, baby blue eyes. So as the age of the internet came up and we got more vocal, right? The parents started decline, like enrollment rate declines. They make it, the way that they made us sound was like crazy. So I just wanted to I figured it was easy for me to do this. That way I don't have to keep reiterating during the series about the school. That way I could answer any questions before we get going. Hi, Ashley. It was really, it was an experience. It was truly insane. And I don't disagree. I saw somebody said Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton went to a very similar school. It was very similar. It was years after. Hi, hippie queen. Because I do think that the program, if done right, hi, Savannah Smiles, I love your face. I do think that it could be useful if done right. These people were telling, I know, I love you. Wilderness is where we got threatened with if we didn't fall in line. They were sending us to Wilderness. It never happened. I do think that it could be useful, but when you're selling our parents a therapeutic boarding school and we don't have any therapeutic anything, it's deceptive. And conveniently, the people that owned the school years ago, I'm going back when they opened, right? Thank you, Lynn. The wife is still alive. They now own half of Hancock, New York, from the money that they got from manipulating our parents into thinking that it was this life-saving solution, and so they exploited a parent's need to help their kid, but there was no therapy. They also had our parents think that we were all master manipulators and we were gonna say anything to get our parents to take us out, right? So they had those bases covered. And I remember, so there was a student that jumped off the roof and he unalives himself way after me. They lied to the parents. They lied to the parents about the situation, about their child passing away. We're too late. Hi, Mel. We're too far into it. We tried recently. Thank you, Nikki. We tried recently to speak to attorneys because there's a statute of limitations, right? And we could have dealt with the rule of discovery, right? Or the change in events, which was him being arrested. Hi, Tara. However, hi, Little T. Their files, I'll say this, their files are evidence. The FBI has control of everything. Spada. Hi, Becca. But that's the problem we ran into, was the statute of limitations. But people, I would say that the first 5 years, typically, hi, Teresa, not much, we're talking about boarding school. Hi, Fliz. Typically, 5 years after we leave there, we're still fucked up. We're not right in our heads. We're not thinking, oh, we should go and sue them or have them arrested. I appreciate you, Teresa. Thank you, Colleen. That's not where our minds were. We were trying to cover the trauma with substances. That's how it was. Hi, sis. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. However, that window came and went. I think that there was, after he was arrested, okay, I had 6 more students disclose to me that they were sexually assaulted. They couldn't be charged because of the statute of limitations. The FBI knew about them. They spoke to the victims. I told them, you need to contact the FBI, because the FBI opened a tip line, I guess, for us to communicate with them, you know. And I told them, you need to go and speak to. I agree, Resin. I just don't know how to do that. I think that a lot of states have started, because this is where it started for us as well. New York State, which is where the school, I hope you have a good day, Alicia. New York State opened up their statute of limitations for civil. I am moves in. Thank you. Civil litigation for, hi JC, did you see? I love that new profile picture. I am. They opened it up. It was called like a look back, right? They, hi T-Dog, they opened that and 12 suits were filed by students. And I agree. And that's what his defense attorneys, okay, they were trying. Oh, there was no mention of this. That's bullshit. There was mention of sexual abuse when I was at the school. So that's just outright bullshit. Hi, Jessica. It was really difficult to sit there and listen to her try to shame us and twist stuff, you know. Hi, Riley. I hope you're doing all right. I know, Maggie. How are you? What up, Billie Jean? It was difficult. It was a lot more difficult than I thought. I don't know if y'all remember, but I found out that my therapist from when I was at the school, hi Money Swipers, was on the defense witness list. I appreciate you, Shari. I was taken aback, right? Because not only do you hold a professional license, you ignored your oath. Hi, Stevie. And then to see her as a witness for the defense, I was like, because she is one of the only staff members that has actually apologized to me personally. And when I saw her at the trial, she said to me, she goes, we thought we were doing the right thing, and I haven't been able to sleep at night. And I thought for a second, because they were very, like, people joke around, hi Coco, people joke about cults. These people came from a cult. You like research? Eastridge Academy, okay? The school that I came from, hi Lilac, was called the Family Foundation School, right? The staff from there, okay, came from Eastridge Academy. Eastridge Academy built their program off Synanon, okay? So these people were very, they were not right. They were very cult-like. And she stopped me in the courthouse and she was like, we really thought that we were doing the right thing. I can't sleep at night. Did this happen? And I kind of felt bad for her, honestly. Even if let's say I went to a new job and they told me, wrap this kid up in blank tape, with duct tape, and leave them there in a boiler room for 4 days. Don't let them use the bathroom. Only feed them dry tuna fish. I would look at somebody like, are you good? Are you okay? Do what? I wouldn't think that I heard them correctly. But this was standard practice at this place for years. Okay? She wound up writing a letter for the defendant asking for leniency. Hi, Sarah. She wrote a letter asking for leniency for the P3DO. Just so everybody, I don't know if y'all know who Mommy Ramblings blog, Merb, over there on YouTube. Hi, Carissa, how are you? Her husband was a staff member at that school for 12 years. Okay? If you go to my YouTube Breaking Code Silence playlist, I do talk about this. Because I had heard her say comments about us, okay, that she shouldn't have been making because she had no fucking idea. Jimmy, her husband, testified. He did, and he told the truth, and I gave him credit for that. I did. I went up to him after court that day, and I said, thank you for being honest. Because for a very long time, they said nothing. They knew there was no way that you worked there and you were not aware of the abuse that was going on around you. So every single one of them said nothing. There was one person, she's actually here on TikTok, Dottie May, I think her name might, Dottie, something like that. She was hired as a social worker. She brought up concerns to management or supervisory staff regarding abusive tactics, and they fired her. She called CPS. She triggered an investigation. That's what anybody should have done. Anybody should have been like, what the fuck is going on here? They were all, I agree. That's what I'm getting to. They were all guilty, in my opinion. Silence is compliance in my eyes. Okay? However, he did the right thing. He got up on that stand and he admitted to the abuse. He told the truth, which is really, like, you can't go back in time. All you could do is take accountability for it. We could choose to forgive and forget, but we can't take it back. You can't take back the thousands of lives they ruined by their program. You can't go back. But she wrote a letter for leniency. Mind-blowing. When I saw that letter, I said, is this a joke? Because she was just telling me in the fucking hallway that she thought that she was doing the right thing, and if this happened, how did it happen on her watch? You knew. Victim 1 was there before me. He was there in 94. 94. Hi, Georgie. They knew. They all knew. They just ignored it. They never thought that it would be put front and center. And I was mind blown. Hi, Melissa. How are you? But I wanted to kind of get my feet wet a bit. Oh my gosh, she's so young. Hi, Mahala. What up, bunch? And see how I could handle it, because I do want to start. It is sickening. I don't know what excuses they tell themselves at night. And like, this is the crazy thing, is that, and that's true too, Lady Di. We come from an era of right? But what up, Squish? I love the new haircut. We come from an era where we were told to keep quiet, right? But at what cost? Hi, Buzz. What's good? Is the benefit? What was the benefit? Like, was it worth it? Because, and this is another thing that people don't understand, right? Like, compounded trauma is never going to heal this trauma. If you're just continuing to give trauma, you know? How did you think holding a professional license, by the way, hi Roman, how did you think that was going to work? We didn't become successful because of them. It was in spite of them. And it took us, most of us, I'm sorry. Hi, Sin. Most of us, I would say, it was a solid 5-6 years before we even started unpacking that. Also, we didn't have the internet. So when we started getting vocal on the internet, John Martin Crawford, he was involved in, he was involved in the making of it mirrored their site, okay, but it was our stories. And that is what really started their decline, was because parents, Google, right? Google came up, 98, 99, 2000. Parents, prospective parents, were putting the name of the school into Google and reading what the school was doing. The school still stayed open until 2014. So from 1984 to 2014, the amount of lives ruined, and there's no excuse for it. I have the FOIA from the 1987 investigation. They should have been shut down right then and there. Should have been done. There was another one in a big investigation, okay, in 2010. And there was another one that was triggered by a judge, right? Because that's a lot of kids were sent there from, educational consultants. One of the kids that I was there with, his father, a U.S. diplomat, okay? We're still pretty close. And how? Like, how? There is no way. Like, a lot of us, I wasn't a terrible kid, right? I was going to clubs. I was, but my mom, who was a teen mom, was afraid that I would end up like her. And I remember I ran away one time. And I got to Port Authority in New York City from Hancock. And as soon as I got off the bus, there was a cop sitting there with a picture of me on a clipboard. And he called my mom to come and get me. And that was the first time that I said to my mom, you don't know what this place does to us. I sat in the corner for probably 3 weeks when I got back with no shoes. It was freezing upstate New York. And that was the first time I said something to her. It wasn't until the Times articles started coming out that my mother was like, holy fucking shit. Right? Like, because they were told not to believe us. They were told they're going to tell you the craziest shit so that you could get them out of here because they don't want to be here. We were cut off completely from the outside world. We were allowed to have one phone call a week, and it was usually a primary parent. Where is it? Age. It was crazy. It was the craziest one of them anyway. It was the craziest experience of my life. But when my mom started, the Times article was released in 2017. Okay, the first Times article was released in 2017. And I remember I was like, do you know what it's like? 2017, 10 years later, okay? Seeing your trauma on the cover of the Sunday Times, right? And I sent it to my mom. I do think that there is a very strong correlation between, they sure did. Thank you, Sin. There's a very strong correlation to, with healing. Yeah, wilderness, that's where they used to threaten to send us to the wilderness program or Samoa. It never happened though. Like, it is a school that you quite literally could not get kicked out of. And my mom read that article and she probably cried for like 2 weeks because she trusted them. She trusted them with one of her most prized possessions. And I think that when the parents, you're good, thanks Christina, when the parents apologize, there's a lot of healing that happens there, right? Not all children get that. And I think that the ones that don't get that from their parents, they struggle a lot more reconciling that stuff, right? Because you're mad at your parents for sending you to this place. You know, you're mad that they didn't listen when you tried to tell them, hey, like, this place did this to me, right? But when they say, and I do want to also say that, like, I 100% believe that if my mother knew what that place was doing, she would have pulled me out immediately. Yeah, see, I think that it's really an important thing. And you think that most parents, once they knew, would apologize. And that's not the case. I think that the people, the alumni from my school, right, we have a closed Facebook group, and it gets brought up a decent amount in there. And because you just want, like, you can't change it, right? Like, you just want them to say, look, I fucked up. We understand as adults, hi Lou, that they believed in this program. They wouldn't have paid them if they didn't. You understand? So the parents have to also, my mother was fucking livid. She was mad. Hi, Crazy Chrissy. But not all parents apologize. And I think that is one of the factors that makes the kid, the adult, the conflict, the student, rather, no, it's not Ivy Ridge. I think that the lack of apology or recognition for the abuse that was caused from the family school, I think that causes a lot more conflict within the student. Hi, Crazy Chrissy. Does that make sense? Hi, Kim. Like, it doesn't take it away. It's never gonna just take it away, right? There's a couple, right, exactly, Miss Meow. There's a couple of kids that went to my school at different times. They follow me. Another one, Anel. Yeah, once, but that's the thing, Struggles, like, maybe they don't want to see it for, hi, Ketty, how are you? Maybe they don't want to see it for their own, they can't acknowledge. And that's possible, but I do think that those conversations are really crucial as far as healing that trauma. Hi, Megan. Hi, Elevated Mommy. Exactly, JC. That's something in my eye. The parents thought, like, they weren't putting us there to get rid of us. I don't believe that. Like, they really thought this is the last ditch effort to help my troubled teen, right? And it blows my mind, see? It blows my mind that these places still exist and get government funding. They still exist and they're funded by the government, okay? Because, let's say this is not my case at all, okay? If the student has ADHD, right? And hi, Boston Girl, and they're medicated, which, by the way, the second you walked in the door, they took you off all meds. All meds, no matter what it was for. All meds, if that student is, let's say they're mandated there by the court system, right? I'm just giving an example. Therefore, the parents don't have the money to pay the tuition. They have Medicaid. They're billing Medicaid for treatment that they're not really getting. Because there was no treatment. We didn't even have, I found out at the trial, the kids that came like in 2000, they had a nurse. We didn't have a nurse. I had fucking mono, okay? I had mono. And I still went to class because they refused to take me to an outside. You had to leave to go to a doctor. I would say it was at least 2 or 3 days, maybe. before they took me to an outside doctor. It really is, like the whole scope of it is fucking wild. Yep, no nurse. I had a woman, she was actually at the trial, she testified. Her name was Christine Spicer, okay? She probably had like 10 years clean. None of the teachers had degrees. They were ex-junkies. It was like the requirement, fuck the certification. Oh, I'm sure. It is dangerous. I had mono. I could have given the entire student body mono. Crazy. I'm telling you, it's the craziest shit I've ever seen. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, our parents didn't have the internet, right? Hi, Kimmy. So they couldn't, no qualified teachers. There is a loophole. I'm sorry. Yes, there is a loophole, and I don't know if it's all states, but I know it's New York. There is a loophole with private schools. You can find me on YouTube, right? What do you mean? What do you mean? Private schools, you don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to have a degree. What? Crazy. It is legitimate. When you have like all these details about a lot, it is fucking crazy the shit that is allowed to go on, because it's considered a private boarding school. It's not overseen by New York State. 3-minute cold showers, and they used to force us to swim in the ponds. Ugh. I would just go to the corner, you know. So they did have accreditation, but they weren't. But they did nothing. Hold on, I'm confused. I think. Jenny, what do you mean? I could screenshot your email. Hi, I got it. I appreciate you. I have the transcripts. I kind of hopped around. It's so unfortunate. Hold on, guys. I'm getting y'all, I'm not going to get into politics, but I am getting, like, increasingly, what's the right word? Hi, Kara. Concerned? Hi, Caitlin. I feel like we're going in the wrong direction, you know? So fun fact, Heather Mimi, that's exactly what I have is a GED, because I left. No, I would have graduated that January, and I couldn't take it. I tried. Leading up to my 18th birthday, I really struggled because I knew I was so close to graduating, right? And I figured I'll just keep my head down. Thank you, Kara. I'll just keep my head down and I'll get through it. October to January, right? And I couldn't do it. I found it recently, actually, the fax that my mother sent me the day of my 18th birthday, okay? I kept it, and I left. I walked the next day. I don't know what's going on, Ohio, but don't take it somewhere else, please. I am not doing drama. I am done. I don't know what's going on there. I just don't want anything to do with it. Hi, Saida. There's some crazy shit going on all over this app, and I'm just tired, y'all. I'm tired. I'm too old for it anymore, to be honest. But I don't bring other people's issues to my chat like that. That's not okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hi, Kick Rocks. Yeah, Vita, I'm just tired, you know? And I don't even know what the issue is, right? Like, there are some things that I'm aware of, and I could kind of mediate or help a conversation along, but I don't even know anything about that. So, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with it. I might still laugh at Lori Jones or Gabby, to be honest, but I'm not participating in everything else. I got more than enough. I feel better now. I still struggle a little bit. The headaches, the memory is still a problem. It's short term now. I have a lot of short-term memory loss. I'm telling you, Angel Chris. I don't watch any sports. Did I see a video? The one that I think I did. I think I reposted it, didn't I? With the spa mask. Also, I just want people to know, hi, message deleted. Hi, Cool Breeze. I don't scroll TikTok. It has probably been a year since, hi Lily Grace, since I scrolled TikTok. I just don't do it. But if I open the app, I think your video was what I, yeah, to it. I was laughing. Hi, is Miss Sherry in here? Hi, Savage, how are you? Because she also posted a video. Lori was talking about cells or something. She had to get her cells checked, and Sherry said, yeah, your brain cells, there ain't none there, babe. There ain't none there. And I was dying. I don't know if she posted it. Sherry, you still here? Yeah, Casey, we're still in production with ours, but you get the drift, right? Paris Hilton also talks about it a lot. I don't know where people got, Paris Hilton and I went to the same program, but we did not. We did not. Therefore, I don't know why she would be paying for the Airbnb for the students in my school. I don't know where that came from either. People are super weird with that conspiracy theory. Well, I'm sorry that you were there, Sibby. But I hope that it is helping. I know, she cracks me up all the time. All the time. She sends it to me through, like, Facebook Messenger. And she does follow me. This account has a lot of mutuals that are up there, you know. It's going, Morgan. Thank you, Pammy Cat. Did the Mama Top podcast come out yet? Does anybody know? Because I do want to watch that. Oh, you're good. Oh, yes. I got to go to the DMV. That's what I got to do. Lily, remind me, not tomorrow, because I have work tomorrow. But Wednesday. Oh, you're good. I'm about to end, too. You've seen bits and pieces. I do want to see it. And I haven't. The Misfit. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate people that, prelim thoughts on the moment. From what I spoke to her briefly about it. I do know that the trial is coming up as well. It might even be now. So I hope that people are taking it easy. I appreciate you, crazy. Oh, it's rescheduled again. I can't even imagine. And that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Going too far, right? I got people that like stalk my whole life and they don't even know me. It's the weirdest shit ever. I know, I did speak to her, I felt bad, but the thing, people just go too far and I feel bad, right? I know, Jenny. I just feel like if somebody's not doing something wrong, why are you doing all the extra? TK, do you know that that's not even true? Do you know? I'm not going to do it. Yeah, that's crazy. And I remember when she said it to me, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm just a normal person. Why would somebody ask for my fucking autograph? And it was a fucking lie. Like, I don't know. People do weird shit. I'm telling you, Pammy Cat. I'm telling you. Hi, Psychology. I'm ending. Listen, Nikki, I was like, mind blown. Legitimately, it's a long story, and if I just crack that door, I'm not doing it. You could get a little bit of context on my last YouTube live. That's where you get it. Hi, Moon Lotus. I hope everybody has a good day. I'm still gonna tell y'all not to be a piece of shit today. Also, I love your face. Hi, Wendy. I'm Mendon, babe. Don't be a piece of shit today. Don't lie about your friends to other friends and then be mad when they talk and everybody now knows that you're a piece of shit. So I hope that everybody has a good day. I'm hoping to start filming tomorrow. So we'll see. All right. It could not, bitch, never. Okay. All right. Have a good day, guys.